Hello, everybody. It's a little bit after noon in the state of Virginia, and wanted to hop on here and talk with you today. It's a little earlier than what we normally do, but it's lunchtime, so I said let's pop on and do a little talking. I got me a cup of water today, so ooh, little bug just landed on me. Hopefully, y'all got to see that. I just flicked him off. Hello, loved ones. How are you? Greetings from Hollywood, California. How is everybody? Hello, Pepper Moon. How are you? South Wales. Good morning, Elizabeth. How are you? Well, good afternoon now, depending on where you're at. If you're in California, then let some people pop on here with us. Hello from Wisconsin. Tammy, one of the guys, if you're in Wisconsin, I don't know where you're at, Green Bay, around that area. I'm Milwaukee, I'm not sure, but one of the guys that I really love to watch on Facebook are the guys from Victory Outdoor Services. They do the concrete. And during COVID, I had found those guys, and boy, I really enjoy watching their stuff. If you've ever seen them, um, by all means, check them out. They are funny guys, and they do some good work, and it gets you to understand concrete a little bit. So, how is everybody today? Wendy said Patrick evidently is not afraid of the West Virginia State Police investigation. No, last night about 10:30, he popped up with a video with Betty sitting, it looks like at his house, and she's almost in tears talking about the fact that she wants her family back, and it for the first time since she was 12 years old. Um, she has raised these kids, and she has helped raise Timmy. She has helped raise Ray Ray and Lorraine, and she just Carmack. We did see Betty last night. It was just a short video. It was like 54 seconds long, and we did see Betty last night, and she doesn't look good. You can tell the stress and the pain of everything is really causing her issues. Yeah, the damage is done. Marcy, you're correct. The damage is done right now. Ernie is running away from this mess. You know, when the law gets involved, you'd be surprised who takes off running. And guys, I'm kind of with you to a point of you would think these guys would just lay low a little bit, let this investigation take place. Don't put anything out there that may draw questions on things. But hey, Ronnie, how are you? But it seems that it's not bothering Patrick. He's put up two posts since the word come out that the investigation was going to start taking place, and so guys, I want to do a quick shout out to Annie Fleenor, and I hope she's on here today. I was sitting at work yesterday during the middle of the radio show, and I had never had this happen. As much as I've been on YouTube and things like that, there's a thing called a super chat or a super thanks or something, and she sent me $2 yesterday. God bless you, Annie. She sent me $2 yesterday. That is awesome. I wrote her back and I told her, I said, that is so sweet of you to do that. I said, it's not something I've ever asked for or anything, never mentioned it. But she just said, hey, thank you. And I was like, oh, that is so sweet. But her name is Annie Fleenor. And if she pops up in the chat, what a great lady. And I used it this morning. Went to get some breakfast, and in the area we're in, we have a Hardee's, and bought a gentleman a cup of coffee this morning with it. So Annie, your cup of coffee was purchased this morning with the $2. Free thinker Robert Redford passed away. He did, correct. Um, For some of us older folks, you know who Robert Redford is. And he was an actor that was around forever. I think he was 89 years old, and just just one of the true icons in Hollywood. You knew when you went to see a Robert Redford movie and a Paul Newman movie what kind of movie you were getting, and they were really good. All right, let's get back to the Whittakers real quick. Um, Post was put up last night with Betty. Betty was making reference to the fact that she wanted her brothers and sisters back and her nephew. And Patrick was, told her, said, look, there's a lot of people out there that love you. There's a lot of people. Crimes have consequences. Evidently, this morning, the news broke this morning on Robert Redford's passing. But he was giving her a little hope that they were going to get this fixed. They were going to make this right. And um, it's sad to say, but they will never be united. You kind of feel that. You really do, and we've talked about it on several of the lives here. You kind of feel like a lot of things will have to change before they are reunited. So upsetting, they've been following everybody. Yeah, I had somebody ask last night what had happened to Lorraine, Timmy, and Ray Ray. Basically, what had happened was I think the state of West Virginia had got to the point where they felt like something needed to be done. They were coming in down there, especially with everything going on with BJ. Evidently, they had been there multiple times, and the living conditions that they were in, and they were seeing things like that. I think it had gotten to the point where the state of West Virginia just basically said, we've got to do something. We really got to figure out what's going on here. And they went and looked at the living conditions, and evidently the living conditions were not. And guys, we've seen the videos. We know what they were living in, and that was one of the main reasons. And that they removed them from the house. From what I understand, they've condemned the house. Um, I don't know about the house Patrick lives in. I don't know if that is his house or somebody else's home. I don't. I've never heard. It's always just been referred to as Patrick's house. So I am watching evidently a big truck, and I'll flip it around here. Has made his way into the neighborhood, and he's having trouble getting back out of the neighborhood. So that's what we're looking at here now. Too big of a truck for the neighborhood. But guys, he put another post up this morning of him and Timmy laying in the hospital bed when he fell and broke his leg, and said that Timmy had missed him so much that he stayed 3 days with him. I'm sure, Timmy, guys, you got to understand, there is no doubt in my mind, and let's look at it from Timmy's perspective. Timmy loved these two guys. These two guys had come in and they had started doing things with Timmy. They had started, kind of being that father figure to him. They had kind of started being that brother figure to him that he's never had before. So they started doing things with them. And, what's that? Yeah, somebody had put up about Betty taking care of them from from an early age, evidently, and Betty's made reference to it, and Mark had made reference to it in his videos. Betty had told her mom that she made a promise to her mom that that would be her thing in this life, was to help take care of her family, and I think that's what Betty has done for years. And Pepper said Betty's just tired. Yes, Betty is starting to get up in the age. You can clearly see it in her, where most people kind of just slow down and Take it easy when older age starts setting in. I don't think she's able to do that for the simple fact of both parents passed away in the 80s, which said there. I you know One person cannot take care of them. You're absolutely right. I think they were all, when you look at the everything that was going on, they were all living together, and they were all in this house, and they were all, and I think it was just a matter of surviving day to day. And she made sure they were fed. She made sure they had clothes on. She made sure it was just, her and Larry, even Kenny, I think, kind of just, they all just looked after each other. And that's hard. Let's see. Somebody said I'm 50 now and there's no way I could. Guys, it's hard when you take care of an older person as they, you know, go through different things in this world as ailments hit and they start getting sick and they start, you know, hello Gracie, how are you? Um, yeah, I'm sure it is hard. I'm sure it's I remember when my grandmother got sick and my mom got sick, and just the day to day taking care of someone. It's hard. Got to make sure they have doctor's appointments. You got to make sure they're taking their medication. You got to make sure that they're clean. You got to make sure that everything is looked after. And you know, this is the first time I would actually say that Betty has probably been to a point where she's been quote unquote by herself. So okay, let's see here. We're going to remove this person. Why would you, guys, this is a safe space, and I've told you that before. I need a moderator. Gamer Girl, you are correct. It's getting, Lady K, I just saw it. Uh, it may get to that point where we need a moderator, but, guys, don't. This is a safe space for everybody. This is just us talking. And, you know, yes, that person that just popped up in here and put that up, the best thing we can do for them is pray for them because something's not right there. Um, no, something is really not right there. Love bug, yes, please be nice in the chat, guys. We'll talk about anything and everything you want to talk about. Um, I think Larry was handling finances. Larry has been the one in the videos that you see. There's a video out there that I saw to where Larry has been kind of one who he's been out in front of the family when new people popped up, things like that. Um, he's been the one to kind of, be the front of the family because um, Larry didn't suffer from some of the mental and physical conditions that the others did. Larry ended up getting married, things like that. Had a daughter, had BJ, and children, and Larry became the face of the family. Let's see. Larry is a con artist. A lot of people believe that, and that's you watch some of the videos and you see some of the things that are out there, and a lot of people believe that, and but you got to remember how they were living and how they were surviving, and I call it surviving for the simple fact of you've seen the conditions, you've seen how things were going with this family. Um, afternoon Santa, hello. Larry, yeah, Larry knows what's going on. Larry knows exactly what's going on. Why can't Betty be with them where they are? I'm not sure of that. That's a very good question. I don't know why Betty can't visit them. I don't know why. Um, I'm not sure. I know that they had went to see an attorney over this stuff. Um, I'm not sure of that. That's a medical and state question that I'd love to have somebody answer. Hello, Dawn. Yeah, Ronnie said Larry and BJ were caught stealing gasoline. Guys, there's a lot of theft in this deal here. They were, at one time they had mentioned a lot of copper that was being stolen and things like that. So, um, always me. No one's trying to cash in on this family. No, this is a chat where we just come in and talk. Nobody's asking for anything. Nobody's requesting anything. This is where we can come in and talk. BJ was stealing copper off the railroad tracks. Yeah, the police were investigating the copper theft. Um, yeah, that is the one thing. Have you noticed Ernie's kind of disappeared on this deal? Um, Saved by Grace. Can everybody hear me? I'm assuming everybody can hear me. She says there's no audio, but everybody else is talking with me. I had somebody reach out to me this morning and ask if I would donate to the Whittaker family. And the response I gave back was one of, guys, I've got no issues donating to the Whittaker family. Here's the only thing I ask. I need to know that somebody is over top of it who's going to make sure the money is going to the Whittaker family. I don't want somebody splitting money 3 and 4 ways because they feel like they're entitled to it. If the Whittaker family needs funds, I'm hoping somebody steps up and says, hey, we're going to set this up. It's going to be handled. It'll go into a trust. It'll be handled by attorneys or something. If there's a proper way to do it, then do it. But as of right now, and I'm telling you, and I've talked to you before about it, if somebody is asking you for money, no, stop it. Do not send money to anyone right now because the state of West Virginia, they're investigating everything right now, folks. They think this is a fraud scheme and they are investigating Eric. They're investigating Patrick. Uh, they've even mentioned if anybody in this chat has sent anything to that family within the last 3 months, they would like for you to contact the West Virginia State Police. Hello, Indy. How are you? Dawn. Eric was trying to get Eric was trying to get the trust open. That was what was said on the that's what was said on the videos. And supposedly he had $5,000 to put into the trust. Here's my thing. I'd like to know where the 5,000 is today. I'm hoping it's in an account that somebody's looking at and making sure that the money, Craig Spiller, the bulk of the money is from YouTube views. To be honest with you, Craig, I think a lot of the money comes from, there's like 4 or 5 different platforms they're on. They're getting money from Facebook. They're getting money from I think TikTok. They're getting money from YouTube. They're getting, it's a bunch of different platforms that it was coming on. As well as donations being sent in. Hello, Perry. Hi from Louisville, Kentucky. I hope everybody's doing all right today. And that's a Jim. Where do the Amish stand in all this? With all this, Jim. Here's the thing that I have made reference to, and I'd love to see happen. If the Amish were going to build them a home, I would love to see the Amish still commit to that and say, look, we will build them a home. The Amish have their own community. They have their own banks. They have their own stores. The Amish is a very tight-knit group of people. Eric had even made reference to the fact that he would have loved to see maybe the money go into an Amish bank to where the Amish could control the money and the donations coming in. Because I'll be honest with you, I guarantee you the Amish would not be having these problems that we're having right now. I do not believe that the Amish would be going through an investigation of fraud and things like it. Well, Jeff, thank you, buddy. Thank you. You guys are too kind. I will use that today, giving that to somebody today when I'm out and about. Jeff just gave me $2, guys. Thank you. I appreciate that. And like I said, that is Annie did it last night. Jeff did it today. Bless you, brother. I appreciate that. Um, Christine said no, they wouldn't. You know, $100,000 to build a home. It, they're a long way from it. They are a long way from it. Let's see. I saw a video that said they made $60,000 off of one platform. There's no doubt. There is no doubt in my mind. This family has, this family kind of disappeared a little bit, and then all of a sudden, it popped back up on the radar with Patrick. And well, thank you. I love you too, Kathy. Um, the Amish do not show themselves on camera and things like that, guys. Uh, Trust me, in the state of Virginia where I live, we have Mennonites and we have Amish that are right down the road from us, and that community stays to themselves. It is not something that you go up into. And for Eric to, if you saw the video with Eric going to see the Amish, the one thing that you saw was that he had to be invited into that community. With us here in the area, the when we really get to see the Mennonites and we get to see the Amish, they have a couple stores in the area that we go and we can shop with. And hello, Julius, Julie from South Africa, welcome. Um, but they are a very close knit family, and they stay to themselves. Eric does not have Timmy. Currently, the state of West Virginia has Timmy somewhere, as well as Lorraine and Ray Ray. They are somewhere where they are being taken care of right now. Um, Mr. Matt, he says, I'm in Roanoke, Virginia. So am I, buddy. So am I. Um, yeah, Deanna said if the Amish was going to build it, they use their own wood. They did tell Eric. Yes, Katie from Virginia. Hello, Katie. They did take Eric through the warehouse. There is that video there where they showed Eric going through the warehouse and looking at all the wood and everything that the Amish had. Is the investigation still going on? Crazy Chris. It will go on for a while. There's no doubt in my mind. I think a lot of questions have to be answered. I think it is to the point right now to where everybody has to be very transparent on what they received, what was going out. Um, we made reference to it yesterday of the simple fact that money was borrowed against future income coming in for different things. $4,000 had been given to Patrick for the house, to help the house be upgraded, and walls and sheetrock and things like that. So I think everybody right now has to be very transparent on what's going on. Can a charity help with the house? That's something that I would say that you would have to contact the state of West Virginia and just ask the state of West Virginia, is there something as a charity that we can do? I think the one thing right now is where you would build it. And I know that the 17.6 acres that they have, there's a lot of things going on with that. For the simple fact they say that it's in a floodplain. Is Lorraine locked up? Not that I know of. I don't think they're locked up. I think they're probably in a facility just being taken care of right now. I don't think it's quote unquote locked up. Um, Yeah, we've talked about it before that if they are to be put into a new home, they'll have to have 24-hour a day caregiving. That's just plain and simple. Water, electricity on that land, no way. Eric had brought in the gentleman from the Amish community who knew the Amish community, and he was the introduction to the Amish group to where they could see what was happening, what was being done, and what could be done. And that was the one video. If you go back and you look at Eric's page, or if you haven't seen it, they went and visited the Amish, and the Amish basically said they would help. They have their own. Um, well, D, thank you very much, D, with another $2. Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. You don't have to do that, but I appreciate that. We will use that towards something good. I don't ever see him getting out of the place. No, it's sad until the right situation will have to happen before I think they'll get out of being with the state of West Virginia. Uh, let's see. Abraham says donation. I sent you $1,000. You didn't send me $1,000. Trust me. Um, let's see. Can you hire the Amish yourself? I don't believe you can. I know that there are some Amish carpenters and builders out there that you can reach out to. I know that we have one locally here in the area that does work, and they come in and let me tell you, they're extremely fast. They're extremely good at what they do. Um, thank you, Abraham. I appreciate that. Um, it's just a matter of you know them willing to help you and wanting to do it, and they do. But boy, you know in the community, you just got to have, one of the things around here that the Amish do, and we have a little Amish shop down the road, and they sharpen tools for you. If you have tools um, like axes and, drill bits and things like that. Hey, hello, Polly from Rocky Mountain, Virginia. I'm just down the road from you, Polly. How are you today? Um, if they have tools or things like that, we take them over there and they'll sharpen the tools for us, and they do an outstanding job. They really do. I don't know if they're still in a hospital. Somebody had made reference yesterday of the fact that Ray was so malnourished that he was still in a hospital, and they were getting him to the point where he was nourished. So I'm not sure. The only thing that I have heard, and I've heard it several times throughout the videos, is that they were all together. So wherever they're at, you know, I still believe they're all together. They have other families. Hello, Sherry from Southwest Virginia. Let's see. Since they already own the land, why don't they have a double wide trailer? Well, here's the thing, and again, we keep hearing about the floodplain and that it's in a flood zone, and they can't put. Um, some people are saying now that the permits that Eric was trying to get, that he never tried to get them. Really, just not sure. But that's what we keep hearing, is that the land that they have is in a flood zone, and so they may not allow them to build on that property. I know that when Ernie and Patrick had popped up, they were talking about maybe finding another parcel of land that they could possibly use. And so that's something that possibly could be looked at down the road if that comes around. And guys, look, let's not kid anybody. Let's not fool anybody. They may never get back together. This may be something that they may never get back together. Floods can happen no matter where you live. That Yes, you are correct. State care is the only safe thing to do. A lot of people believe that. But again, the time and the money and the things like that the Whittaker family will require. And guys, we are looking at them from a standpoint of where they were a couple weeks ago, and we saw how they were living and how they were doing. But you think about as they get older and what they would need, and um, even Ernie had made reference to the fact if anything was built, they would have to get it to the point to where um, you would have to set it up to where you can get wheelchairs through the door and showers in there so they could take a shower possibly in a wheelchair and things like that. So Mary Beth, West Virginia proud. There you go. Special needs, correct. Let's see. Who did the home belong to? Marcy, that's from what I understand, the home was theirs. The piece of property, though, that the home was setting on was not theirs. So even though there's 17.6 acres around there, from what I understand, where the actual home set that they lived in, it was not it was not their property. Let's see. Kenji, how do you eat without teeth? That's a good question. And let me tell you, I'm missing a little bit right there myself over time. But you'd be surprised that how hard the gums get. I used to have an uncle who had false teeth and had lost his teeth and literally got to the point where I'm talking his gums had gotten so hard he could eat. You know, let's see. What are we missing here? Yeah, Hunt Branded LLC owns the house, sits across the street, is the 17 acres. Okay, there you go. Bless the Whittaker family. You exactly right. Hello from Austin, Texas. Hello, Shay. How are you today? Christine said, I'm missing teeth and I can eat steak with no teeth. God bless you. That, that is awesome. Let's see. Are they not in a hospital? I'm not sure the facility that they're in. The only thing we keep hearing is that they're together and wherever they are at, somebody had made reference the other day that they were trying to get Ray back to where he was well nourished. Off the grid, yes. Guys, and that's the key thing right now. And I know that a lot of people sit there and they go, well, I want to help the Whitakers. I want to do this. I want to do that. The main thing you can do right now is pray for them. You know, just pray for this family. This family needs a lot of prayers right now. And look, I know a lot of people have issues where Larry and BJ's are concerned, but pray for them. Pray for Kenny. Pray for Betty. Um, Eric and Patrick as well. That I think this is a extremely messed up situation, and I think the state of West Virginia has stepped in to basically see what they can do about it. And I can eat spaghetti while driving to work. Please not do that. Let's not try to do that. But if you can, God bless you. That's an awesome skill. Um, Again, I don't know the institution. I don't even know if they're in an institution. I don't know if they're. I don't know where they're at. You know, you know, guys. Where it comes to BJ, I don't know if a house is built how they would handle BJ. I don't know if it would be to the point to where BJ's in the house or not in the house, that is a family member, and that is something that I don't know how they would address that. Haven't seen Kenny since all of this has happened. Yeah, Kenny's kind of just, gone away from everything. Kenny works. Yeah, there you go. He's just kind of, he can just, he can go to work and kind of stay away from this. I'm sure he's going down there checking on Betty. He's probably seeing Larry. Um, yeah. Elizabeth said, get BJ out of there. There's a lot of people believe that. A lot of people believe there's a lot of problems there. And again, we've talked about it before. The only one that can handle BJ's problems is BJ. Mark offered help to him. Uh, Eric had help for her. And she just has not accepted the help yet. And until she's ready to accept the help, I think she's always going to have problems. And she's, she's got to get that demon out of her first. And right now, them drugs are, you know, she doesn't want to change. That could very well be. And somebody made the reference to, it's hard on families, especially, these families back up in the hills and in the woods and in the rural areas. Um, they're a community, and it's hard for them to turn their back on somebody. Janice, I believe this will be the end of the story. It very well could be, and but boy, it's like every day something's coming out, and a lot of people have made reference. It doesn't seem like Patrick is afraid of anything, or he's still posting out there. And granted, he's getting clicks on it, so you know. Oh, Shay, I'm sorry about that. Said her ex-husband just got sentenced for 50 years for methamphetamines. Guys, the area I'm in Roanoke, Virginia. There is a young lady here in Roanoke, Virginia that worked for the newspaper. Her name is Beth Macy. Beth Macy wrote the book Dope Sick. They turned it into a TV show, and she focused on how methamphetamines and things like that really affected the rural areas around us and within the community. And so, if you have not read that book, that is a book that I really encourage you to go out and get. Katie says, I'm from Roanoke, Virginia. Well, Katie, so am I. Um, if that's a book you have not read, please go out and get a copy of that book and read that book. That is probably one of the best books you'll see um, in a long time, that really covers how bad the drug situation is in the mountains and in the communities here in these rural little cities. Um, Filmed in Clifton Forge. There you go. Yeah. Patrick got mad because people were posting angry faces. Guys, here's the deal. Everybody has an opinion. If somebody was to get on here today and start hitting mad faces and things like that, it's not going to hurt my feelings. The only thing that I get angry about is when people are nasty and rude to each other into this room. I don't want anybody to be nasty or rude. This is a safe space. This is where people come, we share, we talk, we have fun. We talk. We could talk about anything. Robert Redford passing away today. People had started, asking about that. This is a safe place to be. This is not something that when you come in here, you feel like you're going to get attacked. If we see somebody attacking, guess what? We kick them out of the room. That's just the way it is. Um, JJJ said she just found out that my brother-in-law was dying of cancer. Please pray for Billy. Guys, Lord, watch over Billy. This is cancer is no fun for anyone, and everybody on this chat, I'm sure, has been affected some way by cancer in their life. Somebody around them, maybe them personally. But we ask, we ask the good Lord to watch over Billy and the journey that's getting ready to happen there, and hopefully everything's taken care of. Yeah, priest. Yeah, again, please prayers for Billy. Yeah, that was one of the things that was brought up was the fact that evidently BJ got violent with the family, and she would hit them. And um, from what I understand, uh, several family members had been hit by BJ, and she was hitting them and things like that. So yeah, that guys, look at you. I appreciate that everybody's sending love and support to JJJ and Billy, and guys, it only takes a minute just to say that quick prayer. And that, let me tell you, I'm one of these guys. The first thing I do in the morning is thank God I'm still here, and the last thing I do at night is thank God for the gifts He's given me today. So violence come from. I'm a nurse of 40 years, seen it all. I'm sure. Uh, Rosie Rose says she has seen it all. 40 years being a nurse. My sister's a nurse, and the stories that she tells me of things that she sees. And Claudia says, "Yeah, I've been diagnosed since '95." Claudia, you're still here. You are still here, and I'm glad that you're living every day. And there is a reason you are still here, and God's not done with you. I want you to look at your foot. At the bottom of your foot, there's no expiration date on the bottom of your foot. So you keep living the best life you can live. And God bless you. BJ is a victim too. Yes. Yes, she really is. And I know a lot of people may not like that. A lot of people may not agree with that. But BJ is. Yeah. Let's see. Elizabeth said, I'm a retired nurse, and Crime says all we can do is pray. We don't know what's happening behind closed door. Correct. And again, somebody just made reference to the fact of donations. Guys, as far as I know right now, wow, it's a little plane. Hang on. Oh, it's a helicopter. That thing was loud. That thing really was loud. Um, I lost my train of thought. That helicopter got me to where I hit Ronnie exactly right. That thing was really loud coming across the top of the house. Um, but I did. I lost my train of thought there. News helicopter could be a drug helicopter as well. They looking around the area to make sure. Um, oh, donations. Thank you, Laylo. Thank you so much. The donations. The state police are asking if anybody in this channel has donated to the Whittakers through Eric, through Patrick, anywhere. They want you to contact them. They want to know about it. They're trying to figure out, Barbara, thank you. They're trying to figure out where some of this money came from, where all of this money came from. If you sent them gifts, if you sent them sodas or coloring books or things like that, they want to know everything. They want to know everything. What about the money from Mark, 153,000? Here's what I understand the money from Mark. The money from Mark, most of that money went to the family. And you got to see things like the roof being fixed and different things being bought and things like that. The only money that I understand that Mark kept was the amount of money that he had to pay taxes on. Now, where the rest of the money went, a lot of people believe a ton of that money went to drugs. BJ was using it to buy drugs. So let's see. What's I say? Yeah, turn your donations into prayers right now, guys. That thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. That is true. This family needs your prayers right now. It really does. They don't have to report it. No, you don't have to report it. They're just asking you. They're trying to figure out, I think, how much money was, really obtained by this family. And that's the key thing, because I'm sure, and we've made reference to it. I'm sure a lot of money has gone in, and there's no record of it. Just the simple fact of they received it, and things like that. And you got to remember, when they were going into restaurants and things like that to eat with Timmy and things like, people were paying for them to eat, and I'm sure money was handed over that way and things like that. Nobody will ever know about that money. Nobody will ever know how much. You don't know if somebody had walked up to them and said, "Hey, I want to help. Here's $100." You don't know. That's just something that you'll never know. Did Betty report the 150,000? I don't think it was up to Betty to report it, for the simple fact I think it was under Mark's account, and Mark kept enough out of the money to pay the taxes on it. So, hi Nancy, how are you? Um, so I feel like that the taxes has been paid on that money. I think Mark's free and clear of everything. Um, that's what I think had happened to that. Yeah, Marcy said Mark sent it as they needed. Yeah, there's a video out that Mark shows where when he left, it was it was basically to the point that it was about every 2 to 3 weeks he was getting phone calls going, can you send me money? And he would send like 1,000, 2,000. At one time, he sent $14,000, and it was sent to a bank in, I believe, Wheeling, West Virginia. And so at least everything that was done with Mark, I think, can be accounted for. And do y'all have undercover drug enforcement? I think that's everywhere. I think that's everywhere. Um, they did need a new roof and cars. Okay. Hi from East Texas, Stacy. How are you? Flame Walker said on SSI you're only allowed to have 2 grand. Okay, that correct, and that is something that everybody has to look into to make sure that everything is being done properly. And so, hi from Idaho, friend. How are you? People in Walmart gave money to Eric. Guys, I'm sure that a lot of money was just handed over. And you'll never know that. And that's, you got to think in that small town. Um, is that a Kansas City Chiefs shirt you're wearing? Yes, it is. I know they haven't won a ball game yet. Give them time. But then that small town they're in, the Whittaker family they've become famous, and I'm sure that when Timmy and Ray and Lorraine and all of them were out, they were probably superstars in that town. People wanted to give them things. Um, there's no doubt in my mind. Why aren't those drug dealers in jail? You got to catch them first. Karen, hello from North Carolina. Let me see here. Hold on. I saw a question. Um, yes, and Facebook and YouTube gifts were being sent, not knowing that it would be split 3 ways. Correct. Um, guys, I think a lot of people see the Whitaker family on something, and next thing you know, the donations that you feel, that's being processed through, you feel like it's going to the Whitaker family. And the sad thing about it is they had set it up to where it was being split 3 ways from what I understood, and then the donations were going to the Whitaker family. So the clicks from the pages were going to Eric and Patrick, and then the donations were going to the Whitakers. So everybody was making money, quote unquote, from that scenario being laid out there. On SSDI, you can have more money, but on SSI, it's only 2 grand. Okay, thank you, Flame Walker. I appreciate you. On the 21st is payday for YouTube. Okay. Yes, but we didn't find out the three-way split until recently. Correct. I think a lot of people had, missed that in the videos, and it had popped back up into the videos. Rita, yes, somebody is making money on this chat right now. Here's the deal, Rita, and we'll address it. And thank you for putting that in there. Anybody with 1,000 subscribers, and over 4,000 watch hours on YouTube can make money. It's a wide open platform. I had somebody ask me last night, would I be willing to give money to the Whittakers? Yes. The only thing I've said is that it has to be done legitimately and in somewhere to where I know that somebody's not scamming them and they're actually getting the money. I have no issue. Plain and simple. That's, let's see, why didn't they take Betty? You know, Here's the thing with Betty. I think the deal with Betty is that when all this went down, she had started to look bad, but her being away from her family and her brothers and her niece, and her nephew and her sister, I think that has taken a major toll on Betty. And there's no doubt in my mind you'll slowly watch Betty go downhill from here, probably. No, they don't need to. Here's the thing, guys. And again, let's not get into money on this deal here. This, if it is done properly, if it is done right, there's no doubt in my mind people, including myself, would give to the Whittaker family to make sure everything is done correctly. It just, you know, Rita, if, I don't want, I'm not, no. If YouTube and Facebook wants to investigate this, investigate anything, nobody's doing anything wrong. We're doing YouTube, you know. Let's see. What did that say? How do you know I'm not the real Santa? You don't know I'm not the real Santa. So let's be good in this chat. Let's be nice to everybody. You never know. What do you find in West Virginia? A lot of you find it in Virginia as well. A lot of coal. So don't make me get the coal out and start putting it in stockings. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people had said that the Whitakers became a business instead of a family. And a lot of people, saw that. Is Mark coming back? I'd like to see Mark come back and get into, but Mark has his own issues right now, especially with his girlfriend passing away. Um, Chris said, I'm an hour from them. Yes. But Mark has a lot of issues right now with things that's going on. Gail said, we're just having a conversation. Amen. That's it. We're just talking. Everybody, Mark is intelligent. Mark's not a con. You can see it in Mark. Mark, he cares about this family. It got overwhelming on him. People, it really did. It got overwhelming on him to the point where he just could not, I think, deal with it. And again, when you, and even though he was over top of the money, I think it became a situation of they had started calling him every 2 to 3 weeks, wanting more and more and more. And I think that bothered him. Shay said, praying for Mark. Guys, yes. Mark's going through a hard time right now. Pray for that gentleman. And I ask that God comes in and protects him, watch over him, and keep him safe. And, you know, like I said, I think Mark was a very kind man. He was very kind to that family. Um, it was just a matter of, I think it had started really testing him a little bit. And Mark didn't know what to do there. Yes, from what I'm understanding, Mark's girlfriend has passed away. It's really sad. Let's see here. Hello, Chris. Where is Patrick? As far as I know, Patrick is still at the house, his house. Betty is still down there with him. I don't know, Larry. Kenny is working from what we've gathered, so you're not seeing Kenny that much. So I think everybody is still around each other. The only one I think that, besides Lorraine, Timmy, and Ray, that has been moved is Betty. And I think she is down at Patrick's. Sheila says hello. Hello, Sheila. Mark had already made his money before he met the Whittakers. Yeah, guys, you got to remember, Mark was a businessman. He was a very successful businessman and was doing things and was taking pictures and, things like that. So Mark was an extremely well established businessman. Charlene, finally a decent channel. Thank you, Charlene. I appreciate that. And guys, I'm going to hop off here in a minute because we've been going an hour. Here, guys, here's the thing. Nobody's asking you for anything in this channel. Nobody's asking for, prayers. That's all we're asking in this channel. And guys, keep the Whittakers in your prayers. Keep Billy in your prayers. Claudia in your prayers. There are a lot of people that just need somebody to talk to every day. Just need somebody, just a simple prayer. And us hopping on here, just having some chats. If I can take something off of you today, that just get your mind on something else for an hour, we'll do it. That's what we do. But I want you to go out. I want you to do something good for somebody today. I want you, John, have a great day, buddy. I appreciate you. But I want everybody just to go out, have a great day. Um, Pray for these people. Pray for these folks. Pray for Claudia. Pray for Billy. Um, to the two people that gave me $4 today, thank you. I forgot it's been an hour. I know Joe and somebody else in there. Thank you, Ann, from last night. Thank you so much. We'll take that and do something good with it. Guys, thank you so much. You have a blessed day. Go out and do something good for somebody. And if something pops up, we'll be back on here with you. And maybe I'll pop on later. If not, I'll pop on tomorrow and we can do it all again. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Bye now. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody said, Cynthia said, who is Billy and Claudia? Those were members of the chat that their family needed some, Billy and Claudia needed some prayers, and we're just telling everybody to pray for them. If you've got somebody you want to throw in the chat to have a prayer, said for, just let us know and we'll put those names out as well. All right, guys. Have a great night. We'll see you next time. Bye now.